All right, let's just get right into it. Welcome to today's Explainer, where we're diving into the one massive difference between the incredibly successful and, well, everyone else. We spend so much of our lives completely obsessing over our bank accounts, right? Our salaries, our investments. But what if I told you we're looking at the completely wrong currency? Today, we are breaking down a really powerful analysis on why mastering your time is infinitely more crucial than mastering your money. We're going to systematically look at how historical icons utilize their days, uncover the hidden traps that are secretly bankrupting your time, and give you the exact, scientifically backed frameworks you need to finally take control.
Let's start with a crazy little thought experiment. It sounds a bit extreme, maybe even a little wild at first, but really think about it. If someone walked up to you today and offered you 1 crore rupees, or frankly any massive amount of money, but the catch was that you wouldn't wake up tomorrow morning, would you take the deal? No way, right? Absolutely not. Literally not a single person would say yes to that. And what that instantly proves with pure logic is that your tomorrow morning is inherently worth way more than 100 crores. We intuitively value our lives that much, yet we just casually throw away the very hours and minutes that actually make up that life.
Which brings us to this incredibly important number, 86,400. That is your daily allowance of seconds. Think of it like a bank account. Imagine if your bank deposited 86,400 rupees every single morning, but whatever you didn't spend by midnight just permanently vanished. I mean, you'd find a way to spend every single penny, wouldn't you? But we let our daily seconds just slip away without a second thought. There's this beautiful metaphor from the ancient Atharva Veda that describes time as an unstoppable horse. It's racing forward, blazing fast, and it literally stops for no one. You cannot pay this horse any amount of money to pause, not even for a microsecond. Your only real choice is to either actively climb on and ride that horse or just stand there and watch it pass you by.
And you know, this isn't just some dusty ancient philosophy, it's totally embedded in our modern culture too. As Tony Stark's father famously put it, no amount of money ever bought a second of time. Seriously, when you frame it like that, chasing money while completely ignoring your time makes absolutely zero sense. If you just chase the cash, time might or might not be on your side. But if you relentlessly chase and optimize your time, the money, it's naturally going to follow.
Okay, moving into Section 1, the Masters of Time.
When you look back at history, the people who achieved monumental success didn't always start with massive wealth, but they did treat their time radically differently than the average person. They treated their schedules like they were sacred. Take this incredible historical example during the Dandi March. Mahatma Gandhi was keeping to a very brisk, tight walking schedule, and this English reporter named Walker comes up to him, hoping for an interview that would splash Gandhi's name all over prominent English newspapers. It was a massive PR opportunity. But Gandhi prioritized his forward momentum and his schedule. When they asked him why he didn't just stop for the fame, he made it crystal clear. To him, maintaining his schedule and his time was fundamentally more valuable than public fame. He fully understood that time was his ultimate leverage.
And we see this exact same philosophy in one of the wealthiest guys on the planet, Warren Buffett. The world sees the billions he's invested now, but they totally miss that he learned to invest his time long before he ever had real money. Look at this timeline. At age 6, while other kids are just goofing off, he's buying packs of Coca-Cola and chewing gum to sell door to door for a tiny 5% profit. By 11, instead of making excuses about not having capital, he's selling newspapers, scraping together $75 a month just to get into the stock market. By 16, he'd amassed $3,000. Even Bill Gates has talked about how meticulously Buffett packs his calendar. The big takeaway here? Every billionaire becomes successful by mastering the investment of their time long before their money.
Which leads us perfectly into Section 2, the entertainment trap.
So if time is so insanely valuable, why are we always so quick to just give it away? Honestly, it usually comes down to a lack of energy or a lack of purpose. We just default to the easiest possible distraction. Let's look at this dynamic through a financial lens for a second. Imagine if Instagram, YouTube, or Netflix suddenly slapped you with a 20,000 or 30,000 rupee monthly subscription fee. You would delete those apps immediately. No one is paying that kind of cash to scroll. Yet, we are so ready to pay a much higher price using our most valuable currency, our time. We trick ourselves into thinking these apps are free, but the true cost is just hidden in the hours we willingly surrender.
Now, what's genuinely fascinating is that we can literally calculate this loss mathematically. Let's say you make around 30,000 rupees a month, working a 6-hour day with weekends off. That makes your base hourly value roughly 197 rupees. But what happens to the hours after work? If you waste 5 hours a day just mindlessly scrolling, you are essentially burning over 34,000 rupees worth of your own potential every single month. Your hourly rate isn't just what your boss hands you, it's the value of what you could be building during your free hours. When you waste time, you are literally bankrupting your own future.
To really understand why this trap is so incredibly hard to break out of, we have to look all the way back to the Roman Empire, specifically to a political strategy known as bread and circuses. Historically, when rulers needed to pacify the public, to distract them from messy, frustrating issues like high taxes, pollution, or terrible governance, they didn't use force. They just provided basic food, the bread, and massive, thrilling entertainment, the circuses. As long as the people were fed and entertained, they honestly didn't care about their loss of power.
And the parallel to today is just staggering. Our modern circus is found right on our screens. Social media, endless scrolling, OTT platforms bursting with content. We have literally never had this much entertainment available in human history. And just like those citizens of Rome, we are being pacified. Look, a little escapism, totally fine. But when entertainment becomes a weakness, when it keeps you completely unconscious to your own potential, it morphs into a tool that just steals the very hours you desperately need to actually build your life.
All right, so how do we fight back? Let's jump into Section 3, the time boxing technique.
Time to get into the actionable toolkit part of this explainer. Researchers have studied over 100 different productivity hacks out there, from the 2-minute rule to diet focus, but one specific method stands head and shoulders above the rest, and it is backed by Harvard research. But to get why it works, we first have to understand why the traditional to-do list completely fails. According to productivity expert Daniel Markovits, massive to-do lists actually paralyze us. Staring at a list of 20 random tasks just creates choice fatigue. You might have a simple 3-minute task and a tough 30-minute task. Human nature guarantees you'll pick the easy 3-minute one first, completely ignoring the fact that your absolute highest energy levels right now should be used for the hard 30-minute task. To-do lists have no context, they totally ignore your daily energy flow, and they lack a clear why.
So here is the absolute game changer, time boxing. Instead of writing down a giant disconnected list of chores, you take a task and you physically pack it into a strict, dedicated block of time directly on your calendar. You don't just say, oh, I need to study today. You say from 2 p.m. to 3:30 p.m., I am locked in to study. This is the exact literal framework relied upon by billionaires like Elon Musk. He manages to run multiple mega companies by slicing his 100-plus hour work weeks into these relentless, non-negotiable time boxes. Time isn't just going to magically appear for you. You have to actively pack your work into it.
Which brings us to our final core concept in Section 4, setting SMART goals.
Because let's be honest, time boxing is completely useless if you don't actually know what to put inside those boxes. The absolute biggest reason we waste time is just a sheer lack of purpose. If your destination isn't clear, you are going to wander. You need crystal clarity on exactly where your energy is going, and to give your time boxes that kind of purpose, you must use the SMART goal framework. It's a proven 5-step Harvard-backed method that takes these cloudy, vague desires and turns them into concrete, scheduled realities. It stands for specific, measurable, achievable, relevant, and time-bound.
Let's quickly break down the first two. Your goals have got to be specific. Saying, I want to travel is totally useless. I want to go to Delhi is much better. But I want to visit these specific locations in Delhi directs your time perfectly. Next up, it has to be measurable. You have to be able to know your progress. Imagine downloading a massive 10-gigabyte file on your computer, but there's no progress bar. You'd go crazy. You wouldn't know if it was going to take 10 minutes or 10 hours. Measuring your goal completely removes that anxiety because you can track exactly how long it takes.
Next, your goals must be achievable and relevant. Achievable simply means respecting realistic timeframes. If you're bringing in 1 lakh a month right now, suddenly declaring, I'm going to earn 1 crore next month, isn't a goal. It's a fantasy, and it's going to crush your motivation almost instantly. Relevancy is just as crucial. The goal has to deeply align with your personal values and interests. If it doesn't, you'll basically be like a dog chasing a speeding car. Once the car stops, you won't have any idea what to do with it. You'll lose interest, you'll quit, and you'll have completely wasted all those days you spent chasing it. Finally, every single goal must be time-bound. It needs a strict finish line. If a task is supposed to take an hour, you give it exactly 1 hour on your calendar. No more, no less. The source material spells it out so perfectly here. If you cannot rule the simple calendar hanging on your wall, you will never be able to rule your life out in the real world.
All right, we've covered the history, the hidden traps, and the exact frameworks to fix it. Now, I want to leave you with this final, genuinely important question. Take a hard look at your own life today. Are you actively riding that unstoppable horse of time?
Or are you just sitting on the side of the dirt road, scrolling on your phone, watching it gallop away? What exactly are you going to do the second this explainer ends? I am challenging you right now. Commit to making your next 30 minutes more valuable than a 10,000 rupee payout. Time-box your next task, figure out your purpose, and stop letting the absolute most valuable currency in the universe just slip right through your fingers. Drop a comment and let us know exactly how you plan to spend your next 30 minutes. Until next time, take control of your time and take control of your life.